Geometry, lesson 1-15. We're talking about the radius, diameter, and area of circles. And I'm still talking over people.
Are you talking over me, Mr. Smith?
I am now talking over you. You just lost HP. Thank you. All right, so vocab. Point A is the center. Copy this down with me. Point A is the center. You're writing this down. Leo, are you okay? You're copying this down? Point A is the center. Another name for point A is a vertex, although I'll be using center more. So if you want, you don't have to write this, but it's also known as the vertex. I will be calling it the center for the rest of the year, though. All right, can we please stop tapping on our water bottle? All right, line segment, AC. Notice it's not a line because it does not have the arrow, so it's line segment, AC, is the radius. In fact, that's how a circle is defined. A circle is a certain radius from one point. All points a certain distance away from the center. A radius is the huge thing that defines a circle. You need a point and you need a radius, and then you can make a circle. All right, BD. This line segment, BD, this is going to be the diameter. All right, Chewy, you just lost HP. We should not be talking during notes. All right, so this is a review of, I don't even know, like 6th grade. You know what the radius is, you know what the diameter is. This also hopefully is review. So if I say D, that is assumed to be the diameter. Write this above that. D is diameter. So the diameter, it is always twice the radius, 2 times R. R is the radius. All right, Aurelio, you just lost HP too. And I'm going to start forgetting all the people that are starting to lose HP. So let me just do this. Aurelio, Jaden.
Oh, you already took XP. You can't take life.
I never took it yet. It's whoever I hear talking, and I heard your voice. You guys were off task. All right, so please no more talking. I already took HP. I don't want to have to take it again. Okay. Example 1. What is the radius and diameter of the following circle? This is pretty easy. You guys can do this. Quiet raised hand. What is the radius? There's only 3 people that know what the radius is of that circle in example 1. Uh-oh. 4 people know. 5 people know. Anna. 11. What are the units? Centimeters. There it is. 11 centimeters. Thank you, Anna. Jaden, I heard your voice above everyone else's, so you just lost HP again.
Yeah, it's because of you, though. You made me feel bad when you said that.
I'm sorry that I made you feel bad. But you are losing HP because you're talking. Diameter. Quiet raised hand. What is the diameter? Don't forget our units. Beverly. 22 centimeters. There it is. Thank you, Beverly. Write down 22 centimeters. So far, so good. We know about radius and diameter. Part of Khan Academy is just reviewing those basic things. All right, I want to show you a video about pi.
I like pi.
I like pi as well, but we're talking about...
Well, that's not topic. He doesn't get HP.
We're talking about pi here. I'm the game master. I choose who gets HP and who loses HP. All right, here we go. If it would play. I might have to refresh it. There it goes.
If we take the diameter to equal 1 unit, then measuring the circumference...
Oops.
We'll get...
Wrong video. We'll do this one. No, that... Okay, sorry. It's the right video.
Pi. In school, we learned that pi is equal to the circumference over the diameter. So we'll take a look at the circle again. And we have a diameter of 1. And measuring the circumference is 3.14159 and so on.
That's where it comes from. So just look at that animation again, even without sound. If I take the circle and I count how many of its diameters will I roll to do one complete revolution, the answer here is pi. In one complete revolution, this circle goes to pi. That's where it comes from, if you ever wonder where pi comes from. It also comes from manufacturing companies that make apple and cherry pie, I'm sure. That joke is made out there somewhere. But coming back here, how many diameters would a circle roll in exactly one revolution? The answer is pi. Here's all you need to know about pi. It's 3.14. I know there are an infinite number of digits. It doesn't end. It is a transcendental number. That's the word that I use for numbers that don't end and don't repeat. If you want to know a few more digits, you don't need to, but on Pi Day this year, we are having a competition on who can learn the most digits of pi. And Mr. Sindel won't compete because I think I might win, but maybe not. 3.14, 1, 5, 9, 2, 6, 5, 3, 5, 8, 9, 7, 9, 3, 2, 3, 8, 4, 6, 4, 3, 2, 3, 8. I mean, it goes on and on.
And you know more than that?
I know roughly 70 digits of pi.
Jeez.
I think I do. If I made an error on here, I apologize. I need a review.
Why?
Because I did it for competitions. Pi is a cool number, although there are cooler numbers in my opinion, like phi, the golden ratio. Anyway, let's talk about circumference. Let's talk about circumference. And if you find an error in anything that I just put up in the notes, it is a teacher error. You do get the XP, you do get the extra credit. Circumference. What is the circumference? The answer is it is the distance of the perimeter. If I start here at B and I'm a little tiny ant and I walk along the edge of this circle, I don't want to be talking over people. I don't know who was speaking though. If I walk on the edge of this circle, the distance that I walk is the circumference. It's the distance of this outside of the circle. So it's the distance. Of the perimeter. Of the circle. Write it down. It should be in your notes. If it's not in your notes, I'm going to take off HP. I'm telling you to write it in your notes. It needs to be in your notes. That is the circumference. Quiet raised hand if anyone knows the formula to calculate circumference. How many people remember this from years in the past? India, what is it?
It's diameter times
Pi times diameter. And that is, I'm going to write it down here because that is correct. Pi times diameter. The one that we commonly use over and over again is a slightly different one. So before I go on to the other formula, which is also correct. India, there you are. Ellery, what's the other formula that you can use?
pi r squared.
Ooh, close. That's area.
Oh.
Yeah, but you still get points for trying. India, do you know the other one? Go for it.
It's pi times radius. It's radius times 2 times pi.
Yep, there it is. 2 times pi times radius. Circumference equals 2 pi r. That's the one that you need to know. Over and over again in this class, we will be using this. If you want to memorize this one too, it's optional. But the main guy is this one. Circumference is equal to 2 pi r. I'll give it a star because it is something that needs to be in your summary. All right, we're not going to do a practice problem, an example yet on circumference until we talk about area. Area. Area is an interesting guy. So we're on the back piece of our paper now. Area is an interesting guy because we cannot prove this in this class. We cannot prove what the area of a circle is until we hit calculus. And you can't prove calculus until you go to college. So technically, all of this stuff can't be proven to college. But as Ellery told us, this is pi r squared. Write that down. Pi r squared. You need to know this formula. Star this. That needs to be in your summary. It needs to be in the back of our minds when we sleep. It needs to be in the back of our mind when we're riding on a bicycle. I don't know. You need to always be thinking about area equals pi r squared. But why? That's the key. Why is this formula true? I have a second video to show you. Slightly longer.
pi r squared gives you the area of the circle. But where does pi r squared come from? First, we'll draw a circle and fill in its area. Next, we will divide it into large equal parts and arrange them in a rectangular formation. As you can see, it barely resembles a rectangle. So next, we will divide the circle into small equal pieces, and we will arrange them in the same manner. You can see that it appears more like a rectangle. So if we divide the circle into even more smaller pieces, you can see that every time the shape becomes more like a rectangle. So how small must we divide a circle before we can get a perfect rectangle? Well, we can keep on dividing the circle into small, smaller, or the smallest pieces you can make. But the answer is to divide the circle infinitely many times until we cannot distinguish the lines, and eventually the circle can now become a perfect rectangle. So, the area of the circle is equal to the area of the rectangle, which is equal to base times height. The height of the rectangle, as you can see, is the same as the radius, so height is equal to radius. To find the base, we need to look at the circumference of the circle. And when we compare the base and the circumference, we can see that the base is equal to 1/2 the circumference. Remember that the circumference is equal to 2 pi r. When we combine it with 1/2, the 2's cancel out, and base is equal to pi r. So now, base times height becomes pi r times r. Combine the r's together, and we have pi r squared.
Ta-da! Kind of an elegant proof, but in order to formally prove it, you need to play with the idea of infinity. You have not unlocked that ability yet until you hit AP calculus, or just normal calculus. So if you want to know, this symbol right here, it stands for infinity. All right, so let's use our two new formulas to find the area of the following circle. We need this formula. 2 pi r is the circumference, and this formula, pi r squared, is the area. All right, I want to find the area of this circle. We're going to do it together. All right, notice that every single time it asks for area, I'm going to immediately rewrite the formula. Area equals pi r squared. Copy it down. Notice that we need r, we need radius. We only have diameter. So how do we get our radius? This length right here. Radius is equal to what? Quiet raise hand. Someone new, please. We have the same 5 people participating over and over again. We need more XP. Colby. 2. Yeah, take half the diameter. Now we can plug it in. Area equals pi times that radius. We substitute 2 in for r. 2 is the radius. Remember, every time that you substitute, you need to leave parentheses. All right, I want this one shouted out. What is 2 squared? 4. So we have our final answer of area is equal to 4 pi. But what are our units? We didn't have units. We didn't have centimeters or inches over here. So we say units squared. Area is always in units squared. Box our final answer. It's 4 pi units squared. You should have a little bit of blank space down here. I need to add something about Khan Academy. And this is very specific, and I know that it'll be helpful. If you type in PI into Khan Academy, it will automatically turn these 2 letters into the symbol pi. So you don't need to search for it. You can just type it in on your keyboard. So that's just a little note for Khan. All right. This is a hard example. Example 3. I'll leave this up here also. Example 3. What is the area of a circle with a circumference of 25.13 units? Ooh, that's hard. It gave us circumference, and somehow we need area. Because we need area, again, same thing as the last problem. I'm going to copy down the formula. Area equals pi r squared. Notice that I need a radius. Darn, I don't have one. How can I find this r, and then I'll be able to find a? Ellery, what are we going to do?
You can divide the circumference by 2 to make the radius. But can't you also just do pi times the circumference? Or no, it's the circumference, not the diameter.
Yeah, so it's going to be a little bit different.
I see that.
This is, yeah, so I still want to give you your XP though.
I wasn't thinking.
Alphabetical. This is what we're going to do. We're going to use the formula for circumference. If it gives you circumference, write down the formula for it. Circumference equals 2 pi r. We know what the circumference is. We know what capital C is. Capital C, it tells us in this problem, circumference is 25.13 units. So this C here is going to transform into 25.13. The circumference is 25.13. I'm substituting this in for circumference, and that's still equal to 2 pi r. On these types of problems, you will need a calculator. I'm going to guess most people are going to use this calculator that's built into their computer. Notice that if you just have the calculator when you first open it up, it might look like this. If you come up here and click View, you can click Scientific, or you can just hit Command 2. So Command 1 will go here, Command 2 will go here. Command 3 is an engineering calculator that I don't think anyone will use for a long, long time. But Command 2 will bring this up so I can see pi. Basic version doesn't have pi. Nice version has pi. So coming back to our notes, we need to solve for r. Remember, the idea is get r so we can find a. But to get r, I need to work over here first. I need to divide both sides by 2 pi. Divide this side by 2 pi. Divide the left-hand side by 2 pi. These 2 pi's will cancel each other out. What's left on the right-hand side is r. Now I need to figure out what 25.13 divided by 2 pi is. That will be my radius. So I come back to my calculator. This is how you enter it on your calculator, and maybe I should bring it right about here. I'm going to enter 25.13 divided by, I can actually do this in 2 different ways. I think this is going to be the easiest step. Divide by 2, divide by pi, equals 3.999. I'm going to round this. I'm going to round this to 4, but if you want to keep it exact on your calculator, you can. So I'm going to say the radius is approximately equal to 4. So I'm going to come back here, and instead of saying equals, I'm actually approximating now. So I'm going to, what happened there? I'm going to approximate this. I don't know why it does that. Interesting. I'm going to say that the radius was approximated by these squiggly things. If you want to know what these are called, this is approximately. R is approximately 4 from here. Well, now that we know what R is about 4, we can go back to our area formula. We can say area is equal to pi. This 4 is going to be substituted in for radius squared. I'm going to pause. Digest what just happened. We're almost done, but we used the formula for circumference. We knew what circumference was. We plugged it in. We solved for r. Using r, we can find our area. All right, shout this one out. 4 squared. All right, therefore area is equal to 16 pi. I guess we should, I'm going to come back and make it a little edit here. 16 pi units squared. The one thing I want to change to make this very precise is this is not an exact answer anymore because we approximated here. That means every step from here is an approximation. Well, what happened with my... That is interesting that it does that. All right. Are there questions about example 3? It is hard. Example 3 is the hardest type of question that I can ask. But this is the same process over and over for these types of questions. They won't ask you something where they give you area and go to circumference the other way. They will just ask this type of method over and over again, and you have them in your notes now. Are there questions before I turn it over to Khan Academy? All right, so that concludes the notes. Mini announcement, I will be here after school today for an hour. If you need help, please come and see me right after school. When you finish your summary, check someone else's summary, and there are 2 pieces of homework. One is Khan Academy, one is a survey.